Welcome back to my channel as we're going to discuss the Leo full moon happening on February 1st at 5:09 p.m. That's Eastern time. So be sure and adjust for your location. This Leo full moon is quite an interesting one as it's occurring at 13 degrees of Leo in your chart, where the moon is big and bright here in the second fire sign of the zodiac. This is fixed fire. It is a bonfire. It is that flame that keeps burning based on your personal creativity, will, power, what you desire, what you want to move towards, and what you want to ultimately experience that gives you life. So this is a life-giving Leo full moon. And you can see here that the moon is on its own on this side of the zodiac wheel and is up against 5 planets in Aquarius. Now, by the time this full moon is exact, the moon in Leo will already have opposed Pluto and Mars, then meet up with the Sun, followed by oppositions to Venus and Mercury. So we've got Team Aquarius here, 5 energies. This could represent 5 people, 5 parts of yourself. This could represent 5 areas of your energy that are connecting to Aquarius themes, which are fixed air. Ideas, visions, thinking, conversations, communications, talking with people, lots of group chatter. Perhaps a lot is going on in the collective that you are taking in, pondering, considering, even sitting with to determine, what is truly me, what's in alignment with what I really think and what I'm moving towards next. And with the strong lineup here of planets in Aquarius that have now all made a conjunction to Pluto. So they're on the other side of a transformation. They are now looking to fixate on what is calling you forward. A lot is going on here in the upper chakras, especially in that third eye and crown chakra, even the throat chakra. And then over here, the full moon in Leo is asking you to connect with the passion and energy in the solar plexus and the heart. And so this is where the Leo Aquarius axis is taking all these thoughts and ideas and putting them into action, doing something that is personal, that brings you back into your own life force, that excites you, motivates you, inspires you. That's the energy of every fire sign. And this is a personal understanding of who you are and what you want now that could come up against a bunch of people who have a different idea, different vision, different path for you or expectations. This is a lot of conversations happening. I mean, we know that Aquarius season has been big, but this is loud chatter. But when you tune into your heart and your solar plexus, you're going to have a very strong feeling around what lights you up right now and what is calling to you that others can't hear, but even you can't hear or access in the higher chakras. So this is where everything that is spinning around, being discussed, all the possibilities and potentials that you are formulating, planning, pondering. This is a personal, internal sense of what has your name on it. And it's a very strong feeling. It's a feeling. Now, a few other things that are important around the Leo full moon is that this coincides with Imbolc, which is the cross-quarter point between the solstice of December 21st and the upcoming equinox on March 2021. So this is a midpoint that signals spring is approaching in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's connected with St. Brigid's sacred flame. And again, it just so happens to coincide with the Leo full moon. That isn't the case every year. So this is actually St. Brigid's sacred flame that's bringing you into a new level of creation and power, warmth, heat, light, solar consciousness of what you want to create at this midpoint between the solstice and the equinox. This is also a time when we start to feel that spring is approaching again in the Northern Hemisphere. This is an ancient tradition. Imbolc is pre-Christian traditions. It also is what led to the modern day Groundhog's Day, is Imbolc and St. Brigid's celebration of her return and her light. And I feel there is a strong internal signal here that the Leo full moon is bringing up about what you're creating, preparing to birth, preparing to own and hold more powerfully, because this is that fixed fire of holding an internal flame that connects to who you are, your creative abilities, your internal power, and standing strong in that, standing on your own, maybe outside of the status quo, or outside of a group, or on your own in a way that actually is meant to give you new life. There could be powerful separations here. There could be some things that you're realizing you're not in alignment with. If we were to look at this as this is the other and this is you, what are you realizing you need for your own confidence and sense of self that is coming up strongly through others, maybe as projection, differences, things that it's just on a different page. And you're realizing we don't have the same values, or we're not focused on the same priorities going forward. And so there's a part of you that's maybe separating away, or even detaching to see something in a new light. Like this is coming back again into self, your personal energy field for your own answers and understanding. This is a confident, bold Leo full moon that isn't afraid to move away from the pack, that isn't afraid of a breakup or distance or separation, depending on your chart, of course, because this is going to bring up Leo energies in your own chart and how you embrace and work with Leo energies. If you have strong Aquarius energies, then this could be more challenging for you, because this is a full moon that asks you to come back to what do you want and what do you need? Can you stand in that powerfully, strong, and on your own? And it's so random, but I'm getting the scene from the movie Jerry Maguire, where he's leaving the sports firm, the sports agency, because he's an agent in the sports firm, and he's like, who's coming with me? And he's giving that big declarative speech in the office, who's coming with me? And that's part of the separation here of like doing something on your own that's based on a burning desires or something that you are feeling really powerfully within. And because this is action-oriented fire, it's requiring movement. And that movement could be something that you're struggling with. Could be, going back and forth about, should I do the thing? Should I leave? Should I make this new choice? Should I go this new direction? Who's coming with me? Well, in the movie, only Renee Zellweger came with him, who blindly follows him. So that's the kind of separation energy here, where you might sense it's time to strike out and do something differently, or at least you're returning to whatever this Leo energy is calling you into, whatever you want to create, wherever you're sensing you need to tend to your own internal sacred flame. And it could be an energy that's been building up to the Leo full moon. Now in this chart, the full moon is by itself. It's standing on its own. And so the energy could be stuck in the mind. It's only an idea or a project or something you're envisioning. It's not something you've been ready to make happen or make real. And the moon is challenged and has been challenged by the 5 planets in Aquarius that all have a lot to say about how is this going to come together? What are the particulars? What's the plan? What's the budget? Where are you going with this? What's the bigger dream here? So there's a lot going on in the mind, but this is a passionate feeling and it's coming up for a reason. And because it coincides with Imbolc and the midpoint between the seasons, and because it's deeply connected to the energy of the sacred flame, there is something being brought to life here in the dead of winter, in the cold Aquarius energy. There is a new, stronger flame returning that perhaps you're only sensing and feeling. I mean, this could be a powerful message to your solar plexus about something you want. You want to create it. You desire it. You're feeling passionately about it. There's going to be something that comes alive here because of the strong fire energy and fire symbolism. And also perhaps anything that you're already working on, any projects, endeavors, creations of any kind, they're going to be newly lit up with the Leo full moon here. They're going to come to life in a whole new way. You're going to see it from a different angle. That's part of the detachment that comes from this full moon, where if you've been too in your mind and in your head about something, you're going to return to, why am I doing this in the first place? What is this really bringing me? Is it life-giving? Is it exciting? And what am I noticing that needs to be added? What is missing in the ingredients here? Where has this become too detached from my heart? What is going to expand my heart and open this up like blazing flames that start something new, And as the moon moves on after the full moon is exact, the moon will trine Chiron and then square this Uranus. And that's in addition to how the moon will oppose Venus and Mercury. There is something that might not be easy to solve, but it's essential to include it. An awkward puzzle piece or something that You're like, where does this go? I don't know how this fits in, but it needs to be included because I feel it. I feel it, and it adds more to the project, the idea, the vision, to my life because it's included. Now, the other thing that's important about this Leo full moon is that both the moon and the sun are conjunct world points. World points are 15 degrees of the fixed sign. So 15 degrees of Aquarius, 15 degrees of Leo. And you can see that they're approaching those 15 degree points. That's also these 15 degrees of the fixed signs, world points, are connected originally to these cross-quarter celebrations, such as Imbolc. And then there's other ones that occur throughout the year, 3 more. And they signify a turning of the seasons as we move to greater light. That's what Imbolc also represents. That's also why the sacred flame and fire of Saint Brigid is important. But it's also these world points in astrology that means that world matters are more impactful and important. Now, we've already been in an intense Aquarius season, which was connected to the planets going across Pluto. But now there's going to be more visible world developments that highlight the Aquarius-Leo axis, including the audience, the people, the group, the collective, and those who are leading, in charge, visible, on stage, seen. There's going to be more coming up around what is personally created and what is shared or put out into the world. Collective contributions are highlighted. In particular, what's going on around group initiatives, revolutionary acts, rebelling against something or someone. And then perhaps this is going to represent who is on the receiving end of those messages. So this can be a time for world leaders to be targeted or have some very important demonstrations, messages, and basically actions happening here that puts them on the spot, even more than what has already occurred. Because these are at world point degrees, there is more that comes to light and that is seen. And so this can also bring up the Leo masks, the facades. Okay, now I just got the visual of Milli Vanilli being caught lip syncing and it being obvious to everyone. I'm just bringing all these throwback visuals for this Leo full moon. And so whatever transpires during the Leo full moon is going to be part of the story for the Aquarius solar eclipse about 2 weeks later, which is at 28, almost 29 degrees of Aquarius. And so what transpires here in February, which we've been talking about, has some of the biggest astrology of the year, is going to ignite and set ablaze more of the change that will be happening in February. And we know that this Neptune is now at 0 degrees of Aries, which is also a world point. And then Saturn will enter or rather re-enter Aries February 13th or 14th, depending on your time zone. Also bringing up more of the focus on world point beginnings, significant changes, and important new chapters that will unfold February, March, April. Now, with all of these energies, it's very easy to be overwhelmed. It's very easy to simply be in your head about it, stressed, overthinking, perhaps just feeling detached, being in that Aquarius observer of we'll see how this goes, we'll see what plays out. But ultimately, the Leo full moon is an invitation into your creative life force and a reminder of your personal power, that you are in charge of your timeline. You're in charge of what you are focused on and developing that is true for you, that resonates with you at a deep core level. And so what do you need to tend to during this Leo full moon that empowers you amongst all of the world changes and developments going on that can be too big and too much to take on, change, or understand? It's almost like you could feel that you're just wanting to focus on what makes you happy, what gives you a sense of your power and your choices, that gives you new life, even new light codes, even a return to what you're radiating and embracing. So there's an invitation to tune into your personal needs, hear your heart, hear and connect with the solar plexus, determine where you may need to step away from others in order to connect with this internal flame. And that by doing so with the best of intentions, that's how you're positively contributing to the whole. And that's the energy then you are shining back out into the collective and offering that does count and it does matter. There is always a love frequency with Leo when there's a connection to the heart. And so it's looking at, what do you love? What does bring you joy? What lights you up? And give yourself the time to invest in those parts of yourself and to just feel into that energy even more. If you have planets or points around 13 degrees of Leo or 13 degrees of Aquarius, this will be a more personal full moon for you. Because it's a full moon, you can go as wide as even 5 degrees before and 5 degrees after. So between, let's say, 8 to 18 degrees of the fixed signs are going to feel this full moon the most. And so those would be 8 to 18 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. You are going to have more of these changes and perhaps even some really insightful revelations. What are you being drawn to? What are you desiring? What elevates you and connects you with more of your beautiful light and pure creative power? These are the questions to be asking during the Leo full moon. And then over the next 2 weeks, the moon will be in a closing phase as it prepares to meet the sun in Aquarius at those late degrees of Aquarius on February 17th, which is the Aquarius solar eclipse and the beginning of the fire horse. Plus, over the next 2 weeks, we'll also have the Saturn enter into Aries, as I mentioned. So there's going to be even more significant endings and changes happening in a rather short amount of time. These can be some big surprises, world developments, combustion points, things too that maybe you're tired of waiting. There's an impatience with this frequency in February, and you're like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do the thing. I'm just going to try. I'm going to take a risk, which is the Leo energy as well. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to put myself out there with my confidence, with my courage, with my awesomeness. And you might have a sense of the time is now. The clock is ticking. My life is happening now. What am I waiting for? And I'm feeling like February has these pressure points. So the more that you're consciously working with them, you might find that this is a Leo full moon where you gather your courage, you move something forward, you do something from a place of confidence, knowing that whatever happens, you'll be okay. You'll land on your feet. You'll figure it out. Life moves on. This is where you could have something that breaks you out of a place of stagnation or feeling stuck. And I think that could be even something that brings in new life force. Because do you ever have that feeling of like when you do something, you take a risk, you put yourself out there and it goes well, you just feel so damn good. It's just a very strong, powerful feeling. And that would be one way to work with the Leo full moon is what can you do that purely resonates with your sense of power and your heart? Follow it. See what happens, see where it goes, because either way, it's going to get you on the other side of feeling paralyzed or not knowing what to do. There's very zesty, spicy energy here. It could be hard to stand still. It could be hard to not do anything because February is bringing in these pressure points to move life ahead, start anew. Take a risk, do something with confidence. And this will also come down to the fire sign energy in your chart, how well you take action and move forward in your life. So I hope this has given you some things to consider and sit with. Let's see, we covered Jerry Maguire, Milli Vanilli, Imbolc, and World Points. So I think that's a good summary of the Leo full moon. I hope at least one of those things resonates for you. And as always, thank you so much for joining me here as we discuss this chart. Wishing you a beautiful Leo full moon. May it bring to light more of your beautiful power and essence. And I will see you back here soon.